What's going on, everybody? Slam Pigs Cruise Control, episode 20. We had no clue. It's our milestone 20th episode. 1 month later, we have returned. Let the trumpets blare. Let the fat lady sing. Cruise Control is back once again. Thank you guys for checking us out live right here on Hibiki TMD. I am Travis. Check me out on Twitter at the Hibiki TMD. Check out Reset Button, Slam Pigs Podcast. Union Smack is coming back alongside Never Drew a Dime with Drew Ortman. Catch me on K-Faith Today podcast first thing in the morning. But speaking of first thing in the morning, everything to do with that. From Future Wrestling Podcast, Logan Myers, my co-host, Mr. 205 Live. Man, let freedom ring. It's been a month. The cruiserweights are flying around again. We have come home, Logan. Welcome back. How have you been? How's your month? I've done a couple shots on your show. Got your brand new co-host with us tonight for our big 2-0 episode. But Logan, welcome back. And where can everybody check you out?
I am happy to be back, and I know we're all ecstatic on being back. But you guys can check me out on Twitter at LoganMyers144. Check out Future Wrestling Podcast right there on YouTube. Just search Future Wrestling Podcast. Go like, subscribe, and just enjoy.
Very good, very good. And speaking of Future Wrestling Podcast, your brand new third, your anchor, if you will, Bronson Tron, man. What's going on? Welcome. First time ever anything on my channel, Hibiki TMD. Welcome to the channel. Those unfamiliar, Bronson, he is the third on Future Wrestling, like I said. And the man knows his shit. Where can everyone check you out, my man? And how are you?
Thanks for having me, Travis. It's a pleasure. I'm just on Twitter at Bronson Tron.
Boom. Simple man, simple plan. I like it. And last but not least, he was just on yesterday. You heard him right here with our friend Lola Bradbury at Uber Tie Guy Colin. What's going on, man? Welcome back.
How's it going? It is good to be back. The return of Travis yesterday was awesome, and now we are back with, the always sensational Logan Myers. I got to be honest. It's been a month, and you thought I was going one way. I'm going the other. I haven't missed the brutal beating he gives me every fucking week, but I'm ready for it. I've had a month break, but I'm ready to hear it. Lay it on me.
There you go. I'm sure.
Nobody wants to lay on you, Colin.
There you go.
There it is.
There we go.
Eureka, we struck gold. Colin, where can everyone check you and your show and all that good stuff out?
All right, you can check me out on Twitter at UberTieGuy, and you can check me out, as always, on the Pro Wrestling Roundtable podcast over at James Hebertside 95. And check me out right here on Slam Pigs Cruise Control.
Boom. And speaking of Cruise Control, speaking of the show, when you step away from anything, usually for 30 days, a month, whatever, it's usually the biggest question when you come back, first and foremost in your mind. What have I missed? And quite frankly, fellas, what have we missed on 205 Live? Really nothing more than an awful stable featuring Enzo Amore. It seems like, because Colin and I pulled the curtain back. We haven't watched anything since our last broadcast. I'm pretty sure you told me that.
Yeah, I mean, I work nights at my job, so it's kind of hard. Like, I'll watch SmackDown, but then because I wasn't doing the show, and don't get me wrong, I watch 205 Live regardless. But because I work nights, typically I'll watch SmackDown, then I'll go back to bed, so I'm not tired for work. So yeah, I haven't seen a whole lot of 205 Live recently.
So there you have it. Fresh out the gate, we're odd men out. Colin and I are out, but Logan, I don't know if you've consistently kept up with 205 Live since our little hiatus. What the fuck has been going on besides stagnation on this show?
Good question. Good question.
I mean, I can't answer that. I have
Enzo Amore.
I have kept up with it kind of, and I don't know what the whole issue is with Enzo Amore and the Zoe Train, because the Zoe Train formed like a week after Enzo Amore went one by one talking shit about literally everyone in the Cruiserweight division, and then all of a sudden they're treating Enzo Amore like he's Jesus. So, I mean...
Well, it was the fallout with Neville, and they had to scramble and change plans, apparently.
Yeah, that's a big thing that's happened since, since our last episode. Fucking Neville's gone, so...
We don't know that. They never officially said he's...
Yeah, I think he's on his way back. I think he's kind of just taking a break. But
supposedly he was filming a movie, they said, right? I don't know.
Who knows? We did cover that. I actually, the day that happened, we had an episode on that. So that we stopped around when that happened. But I feel like Logan, you say you've consistently watched. I mean, obviously, biggest rumors I've heard in the last month is a Tommy possibly. He's not possibly. They've already made.
It's confirmed. He
It's
is
confirmed.
He is coming to 205.
Yep, but that's the biggest news, obviously. Let's go around the board. And here's a question I want to directly fire at you, Colin, right out the gate, because let's do a hindsight thing. Let's go back. It's documented. People can check our previous episodes on demand. You were hyped and Michael from Slam Pigs Podcast is guilty of this too, and I'll ask him this tomorrow night live. Cheap plug, excuse me. Hindsight 2020, do you feel now it was a good decision to put the belt on Enzo? Because you guys were all for it. I felt it was kind of a mistake. It was going to expose him. I didn't feel it was the right call. I needed to go back to what got the cruiserweights over in the first place. That's more of a trend, like how the CWC was. But you felt like show business was the right business, so to speak, with this. And it did. And you were right. I feel like you guys were exactly right. It did get eyes on it. But now, like I said, we're stagnating. They don't know what they're doing with it.
I was all for Enzo Amore being the cruiserweight champion, and I think he proved why that was a good decision, because it got eyes on 205 Live. It's still it's in the news now with Enzo Amore, and it's been kind of hit or miss the last few weeks, because him versus Neville was kind of the feud for 205 Live, and now that Neville has been a little MIA with it, they kind of had to scramble to make him new plans, and now we got the Zo Train versus whatever the other four want to be called. And so, we're at kind of like a roadblock, so to speak, but hindsight-wise, I think Enzo becoming champion was a great decision. I think Kalisto interrupting that was a horrible decision.
Yeah.
But, they had to kill time. They had to kill time since Neville wasn't there.
Nothing wrong with making a new star, especially one just sitting around doing nothing with in Kalisto, but that was not the right time to put the belt on him. You should have at least stretched it out. Logan, do you think it was a right call looking back to put the belt on Enzo at this point?
Yeah, I do. I think it's definitely it was the worst time to put the belt on Kalisto. That was the same thing that we said about Akira Tozawa. Same thing we said about Rich Swann getting the belt. But, to me, at this point, they're going to do it anyway. So why bother even complain about it?
I feel like if I pay $12 a month for it, I have a right to complain, though. And that's the bitch about the consumers.
What I mean. You get you get what I mean. Like,
it's not like I'm getting a free fucking episode of WCW Pro every Sunday on my cable. No, we're subscribers to this. This is strictly only on the network or Hulu, one of the two, wherever you catch this show. And I feel like they've treated it. Let's look back to our first episode, Logan. And I think one constant. We've had our ups and downs on the show. We've actually had some really good episodes, Logan, you and I. Believe it or not, great matches we reviewed on Cruise Control. But the constant has just been this lackluster half-ass attempt to make an incredible show. Putting it after SmackDown. Not giving the guys proper builds. Alicia Fox. You know what I mean? So many things in 20 episodes we could bitch about, and I feel like we're justified, too. In this case, as opposed to some Mark fucking nitpicking everything. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's right on the dot, and please don't ever mention Alicia Fox again.
I had blocked that out of my mind that Alicia Fox was once a part of 205 Live, and God damn it, Travis! Now you're just bringing back memories of Noam Dar's extended mouth.
Just doing my job like a true professional. That leaves one man, Bronson. Do you feel like Enzo was the right call at the end of the day, from then to now, looking at where we are?
More people cared, but it only lasted for like a week or two. So in the end, no, not really. People still don't give a fuck about the 205 Live. Honestly, that shit is dead. I don't think they could sign. I don't think there's nothing they can do with 205 Live. Maybe if they filmed it in where they film NXT, because you have more of a hardcore audience, maybe that'd help. But I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of.
They get too much in Full Sail. Don't give them any more. Spoiled little fans. Logan, I know you said you had 2 surprise segments off air that you wanted to do here.
Well, the first one was definitely, talking about Hideo Itami being on there. So what impact will Hideo Itami make on 205 Live and the Cruiserweight division?
Not much. Not my opinion.
Maybe just win the title on his debut. I don't know. Beats Enzo in like 10 seconds or whatever.
That would be a big impact.
Yeah.
considered.
That's the only impact you can make in 205 Live. What else can you do?
I think he's gonna be sort of in between Enzo and Neville. Like he'll without a doubt win the cruiserweight title at some point. He'll probably be the one to take it off Enzo Amore, but he will be probably, maybe. At this point, I think since Enzo is keeping the belt until Hideo shows up, I assume Hideo Itami will debut as a face. Right. But once he wins the belt off of Enzo, he won't be as big as Neville was. Like, he won't, you know what I mean? Because Neville, when he had the cruiserweight belt, people liked Neville, people liked the cruiserweights, people gave a shit. And then, Neville lost to Enzo, obviously. And obviously, Enzo Amore winning the belt is not a bad thing, like we've discussed. But it's still, Hideo Itami obviously is better in the ring than Enzo Amore, at least, wrestling-wise. So I think he'll be, higher on the chain of champions than Enzo Amore was, but lower than Neville.
I think it's not going to work, and I think there's like two key factors why. A big one for me is every time you bring in a guy who's, I'll say Itami's a name. Hell, Kenta's one of the most influential wrestlers of the modern 2000s, right? He is. He's a fucking name, whether you want to admit it or not. But every time you bring in a guy who's not who didn't start on 205 Live, and you put a title on him, the fans are always going to say he deserves better. So that's bad in my opinion. Now, if you put on a Cedric Alexander who's been there since day one, that's more of a coming of age story. Fans can get behind that more. Number two, this is going to make me sound like such an asshole. And like I said, I love Kenta. I think he's tremendous. But we don't have Kenta right now. We have WWE's Hideo Itami. And let's be real, the man hasn't been relevant since 2015. Hideo Itami's biggest enemy has been Hideo Itami. Not his own fault. He got injured. Shit happens. Bad timing. Just this. It didn't help they signed the other biggest guy in Japan at the time, who, quite frankly, comparing the two, Shinsuke Nakamura and Hideo Itami, I'm probably going to pick Nakamura for drawing power any day. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of factors go into that. This just not working and fans not giving a shit.
Actually, I probably really fucked everything up. Nakamura. I mean, he was the big guy before, like you said there, Travis.
Well, a lot of people make the joke. It's a meme at this point. They signed the wrong Japanese guy, but it's kind of fucking true. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And also, even though he doesn't speak English that well, Nakamura is very charismatic. Kenta, not really. He's not very.
Bronson, I think you and I and a couple of our buddies in my group chat were talking about Kenta last week or something. We were like, there's this something lost in translation, especially for Itami. Ever since every match, he has yet to have He had a good match with Rude. It was okay, but a kick-ass fucking match, really. And his style just hasn't translated. He's kind of like a Greg Valentine, right? And I know that's a throwback. But Gorilla Monsoon at the time would make a joke about Valentine all the time. It's like, it takes him 10 minutes to warm up. That's Itami. You can't get a great Itami match in 10 minutes. You know what I mean? That's a big problem with a lot of these guys. And to just throw him in, I know he was in NXT in the Performance Center, especially down and injured, for a chance to hone his craft. So at this point, kind of falls on Itami if it's not translating, 2 years is plenty of fucking time to pick up something.
I'm still waiting to find out who attacked Itami in that parking lot.
Yeah, really. We'll never know.
I was going to say the NXT match he had with Black was pretty good in one of the takeovers. That was a good match.
Yeah, that was probably his best match in NXT today. I
forgot about
that. But
at
the same time, no one ever says, did you see that great Itami match with Black? It's always the other way around. Like, oh yeah, did you see that great Aleister Black match with Hideo Itami?
And even at this point, Black literally just had that match to make him right now with Velveteen Dream, which compare that to the Itami match. While they were both good, that match blows it out of the water.
Oh yeah, Black versus Dream is. I'll take that over Itami any day of the week.
Mm-hmm. Logan, that was segment number 1. Well, what about you? Hot stuff. Eddie Gilbert?
Well, I think he could make an impact only if you give him time in the division and don't throw him to the champion. Don't throw it to the champion. Put on some decent matches against some of the guys in there. I mean,
Tony Nese.
Not Tony Nese. I would say Jack Gallagher, whatever you want to call him nowadays.
I actually see those two, if given proper time and build, having a great match. Maybe a great feud. Intense.
Yep. Maybe a guy like Rich Swann. Maybe even Cedric Alexander. Maybe that's what they're pushing for, is Cedric Alexander to beat Enzo and then transition into a match against Itami. Maybe that's where they're going to go. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is something that you got to look forward to. And only time will tell with Itami and with his impact.
Flat out, I put everyone on. Is anyone right now excited about Itami coming to 2 since they announced it?
I'm excited to see what he'll do, and like, I mean, to be perfectly honest, I was more excited about Enzo Amore than I am for Itami. I think Itami, to no discredit of his own, like, it's just, he's been kind of killed for me. It's the injuries that he's sustained and just the timing of them, where at this point I'm just like, who gives a shit anymore?
Yeah, I can see that. Ron?
I'm curious, excited now. I'm just curious how they're going to go with him. So, yeah, curious, but not excited.
I think best case scenario, Neville does come back and we get those two feuding. And that could totally change the whole landscape of 205. Put some two guys, someone on Neville level, like they like to say. And I think he definitely is on Neville's level. I think that could be a captivating feud. And I think, you got to appeal to the marks sometime. Throw him a bone.
Or how about this? How about Neville comes back and he's not part of the cruiserweight? He's just part of the regular division.
I think that's more than likely going to happen. Like, I think if
Styles and Neville for the title.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing. Yeah, fuck. Yeah, book it now.
If they haven't announced that Neville is gone yet, then he'll probably be back. But I think one of the things is, like, either release me or move me out of the cruiserweight division because I'm done jobbing to Enzo. And I think that's kind of going to be like the catalyst. Is like, okay, fine, we'll let you back into like the heavyweight division. And him, I assume he'll still be on Raw. Him versus Roman Reigns for the IC title would probably be a pretty decent match. I'm not saying it's going to happen, just given the whole Roman Reigns storyline, but still.
Shout out, and all apologies because I didn't see it. Megan Starr's in the chat. She says, "Hey, fellas, so glad to hear you're back. Might have missed you guys. Thank you for coming back. We missed you too." She says it's not going to work, bottom line. I'm guessing that's regards to Itami. She said, "Does anyone really miss or even remember when he's not around?" No, he's not talked about. It's kind of true. So there you go. Thank you for stopping by, Megan, as always. Logan, what was segment number 2? Deuce.
What's the future of 205 Live? With the news that it might be canceled soon for a Facebook show or a new WWE Network show replacing it.
Woof.
Not shocking. I mean,
yeah, not at all.
Kind of saw it coming.
I mean, I hope it doesn't, just for the sheer fact that guys like Tony Nese and Drew Gulak and all of them, like, if 205 Live gets canceled, they're not going to get spots on Raw. They'll still be there. But I mean, at the same time, they've also been like, we haven't seen TJ Perkins in like a month. And it's because they have nothing for him, so they're not using him. And that's basically going to be the same thing, because once this whole Zoe Train is over, there's nothing for a lot of these people to do. No one is clawing to see, Daivari, and, I hate to say it because he's so good and people don't realize that, but not a lot of people are like, Drew Gulak is in action? Fuck yes.
Right.
Other than, Travis and myself.
But that's WWE's fault with Drew Gulak. That guy can talk, he can wrestle. That's just their terrible fucking booking, man.
I felt so bad for him. Like I said, I caught the tail end of the show tonight. When I called it, I called his in-ring promo with Nese. And he was on point, man. But he was trying, and the crowd, they're tired. They saw their AJ Styles. They saw everybody that came to see WWE. What the fuck? You're giving these guys fumes to work with as for the crowd, and you got nothing. And I felt terrible because he is good, like you said, Bronson.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The future looks bleak. I mean, dare I say Neville taking his hiatus, slave, whatever he's doing right now.
Yeah.
It might have been a nail in the coffin. Because he was the life force of that show, in my opinion.
Yeah, he was the guy. And then,
like, it sucks. I mean, Neville was arguably one of the best parts about 205 Live, and he was the best part of the cruiserweight division. And like, his run as cruiserweight champion has basically overshadowed everyone else's other than Enzo's, reign right now because, no one remembers that, TJP and Brian Kendrick and Rich Swann were champions. No one remembers that. No one can
most
remember
cases, nobody wants to.
Exactly, but no one can. I can't even remember a time when I saw them with the belts because, recent memory, Neville has been the only good thing because, and the thing is, that's what I like about when champions have long reigns because a lot of the times, with all the other belts in WWE, whoever has the belt, has a good, 2-3 month reign and then switches it off to someone else and it'll switch back in a month or it'll switch back in another 2 or 3, but you don't have a lot of guys having a good 5, 6, 7 month, 8-month reign like Neville did.
I think that's exactly why they did it too, because you don't see that, especially with a cruiserweight. I mean, you remember when Gregory Helms was a champion for a year in 06, but at the same time, that may have been the lowest point for that title in the history of the title in the mid-2000s. So that, that's why a lot of people are going to remember this Neville reign for the length in this era, like you said. I agree. Logan, what about you? Answer your own question. What do you think the future holds for 205?
I think it's going to be canceled for a Facebook show.
It's really fucking sad.
What would the Facebook show be, Logan? If you had the book.
Apparently, well, I don't need to book it because it's already been teased on what it will be. The plan is if it's a Facebook show, it will be a show of mixed tag team matches.
That's fucking weird.
And
that's what they're doing to replace 205. I'd rather just keep 205 live.
So they're basically putting Chikara on instead. I don't know.
Or if it's a WWE Network show, it will be a show of SmackDown versus Raw Survivor Series type deal, where they have matches from SmackDown to Raw, for bragging rights.
If you have that every week, it stops being special. Ugh, what the fuck? I hope that's not true.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that one, Logan. Interesting.
Well, like I said, I haven't heard a lot about 205 Live in the past month. Logan, did you catch the entire show tonight?
Yes, sir.
What kicked off 205 Live this evening?
Well, what kicked off 205 Live was Noam Dar versus Rich Swann. Well, Noam Dar with stupid retard Enzo Amore, Colin's boyfriend in bed. Colin, go ahead. Tell him your little opinion on and all that. Go ahead.
Your little opinion.
I thought it was all right. Enzo Amore on the mic, music to my ears. I'm still not sick of him. I don't think I ever will be sick of Enzo Amore.
What the fuck was on his head tonight? Was that like a Morocco mole?
So
I think it was just a bandana and just the way his haircut looks.
Yeah.
He's a weird guy, but I love him.
He's kooky. I don't know if
exactly
that's the right word I'm looking for. Anyway.
No, yeah, it sounds about right. But it was an okay match. Noam Dar, Rich Swann. Honestly, there's not a whole lot to say. They had a match. It was all right. That was it.
It's a shame I'm not doing this in post edit because it would be the easiest fucking show to edit ever. Right there. It was all right. That was it.
It was all right. Yep. Okay. I'm gonna say something. The winner was Rich Swann, of course. The match was decent. The match was rushed due to time because for some reason NCIS was late being taken off the air before SmackDown, so the main event actually was late.
What?
Little did people know. Yeah, that actually happened tonight.
Where
Weird.
the fuck did you hear that?
I was watching it.
Oh.
That's
fair
why.
Enough. Logan Myers, NCIS fan.
I turned it on before SmackDown, and I wasn't watching NCIS.
He's got all the seasons on DVD on a shelf right behind him.
I do watch NCIS, but I'm not going to do that.
I do too. I think NCIS is great.
I prefer Law and Order.
I'm going to say that.
Welcome to Law and Order and NCIS cast. Sorry, Logan.
That's funny. The winner of this match was obvious. Who was and wasn't going to win this match, knowing that Rich Swann has that big match coming up for the number one contenders match, for the Cruiserweight Championship. That's about it for me.
That was all right, apparently. Bronson, did you catch any of the show tonight?
No.
Good man. Good man. Just like me. Where did that take us? Was it like a terrible backstage vignette, I'm guessing, with Mustafa Ali playing video games or some shit like we've seen? I'm just going off history with the show. I'm winging it. What happened next, Logan?
It was Jack Gallagher, whatever the announcer's going to say for that night, versus Kalisto. Colin, go ahead.
You make it sound riveting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to see Kalisto still doing something. I assumed it was one of those, like, Kalisto comes in, wins the belt, loses the belt. Once his thing with Enzo is over, he just kind of just leaves, never to be seen again, like we, was on Raw before he joined the Cruiserweight division. But no, he's still doing something, and I think due to the ending of this match, it's going to lead to, like, a feud between Gallagher and Kendrick versus Kalisto. So, like, it's nice to see him still actually doing something.
I kind of feel like the entire logic on the fly the same day to put the belt on Kalisto was literally this. Vince was backstage before Raw that day on his phone, going through his timeline on Twitter, happened to see it was the anniversary of Eddie Guerrero's fucking death, right? Or his birthday, whatever it was. He looked up from his phone immediately to his right at catering. He just saw Kalisto and he goes, "My God, it writes itself. Get out there." And that's just how it came off. And it's like, the Mexican's birthday's over. Take the fucking belt off him now. That's exactly how that came off, because that's how it was booked. It's fucking ridiculous.
Honestly, you're probably not too far off.
Yeah, that's probably fucking true. Yeah.
I mean, they even made it a point on Raw to keep bringing up Eddie Guerrero, which all that did was overshadow fucking Kalisto's title win in the first place. But anyway, Kalisto and Jack Gallagher was the match. I mean, I'm sure these guys are capable of having a good match, but like you said, this is okay. Probably.
Jack Gallagher still delivers with, like, one of the stiffest headbutts I've ever seen in my life.
Which actually happened in this match.
Go get it. Preach on, Logan. What happened in the match?
Well, hang on. I'm going to say this. The terrible
hang on,
Kendrick
guys.
interfered. Hang on. The terrible Kendrick interfered, which made it the DQ, whatever, before Kalisto could win the match. But it was back and forth early. Jack Gallagher, whatever, still showcasing his ruthless aggression. I want to see more Jack, plain and simple. I want to say that. He needs to be showed more on WWE TV for me, because he is one of the most talented guys in the Cruiserweight division.
He is. He's definitely one of the guys that a lot of people didn't know when the CWC tournament happened, and because of how good he is in the ring, everybody remembered. He stood out.
Yeah, he definitely stood out, and damn, Kalisto has definitely fell down the ladder fast.
Yeah.
He went from Cruiserweight Championship, to a feud with Brian Faggot.
Oh, dear God.
Logan. Those opinions expressed by us or those in Logan's are strictly Logan's, whatever. PSA. I think that we called it maybe episode 19, episode 18. I know, I'm trying to clean up the mess. We all called it that they were going to take this belt off Kalisto. He was just transitional. If anything, it was just for Enzo to get the belt back to give him more heat and credibility, but it's still asinine. Like,
at this point, Travis, Rey Mysterio would have been better to be introduced months ago to Enzo during that segment on Raw. Just saying.
Yeah, that's not going to be cheap, though.
Well, he said he wanted to come back, so...
yeah, but it fell through, whatever. I remember reading that. But whatever happened, it
fell through because of what's-his-face. His, manager or whatever now.
Oh, Conan.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Eric Sims.
Who the hell's that?
The guy the fucking Iron Sheik's manager that's in all the shoot interviews with him. The guy with glasses and the bald head. Sheik's always yelling at him.
Oh,
He's an agent for a bunch of guys. Anyway.
I think he let him go a while ago. I know the guy you're talking about.
Oh, he
yeah.
was, yeah, one of the two, but still.
Yeah, that guy was quite the character.
Hey, keeping up with the Iron Sheik, man. That's like keeping up with fucking the wind. Let's be real.
That was a good documentary, though. You see it, the Iron Sheik one?
I did. I need to see the Jake the Snake one still. I
That's
still have
good.
not seen that one.
Yeah, I think it's still on Netflix.
The Iron Sheik on Twitter is more entertaining than most of his matches were, but
That's not far off. And you know what? That's sad. It's accurate and it's fucking sad because all these guys are insanely talented in ring, and it's a crying lion shame. And like Logan, you equate it to beating a dead horse with us complaining about it, but a lot of these guys got to regret signing because they I don't know.
A lot of them will.
Money
A lot
wise
of them
too,
do.
I'd like to think they'd be making much better living in a PWG right now, especially with their name out there, mainstream wise, sorta, in the wrestling world after getting exposure. I don't know.
I just want fucking Lince Dorado to do something.
Wow, where's he been? Holy shit!
The last time
That's
I saw him, he was on like fucking Up Up Down Down. That's like the most over he ever got. Was like Streets of Rage, Xavier Woods.
I want Grand Metalik.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. What about the other one? Yeah.
I want Lince Dorado and Grand Metalik as a tag team. I want them to fight the bar for the tag belts. I just want both of them.
That's another thing. A lot of people ask too. Do you guys think 205 Live needs a tag division?
No, there's not enough.
No.
There's enough women nowadays to do that now.
Is there?
Well, I think that's coming. I think that's definitely on the horizon. A women's tag division.
I think that's.
I mean, I could see like the rise of more women tag team matches and stuff, but I don't see them making like a division or like a set of belts for them.
So I've been browsing through the timeline here on my other computer while doing the show. It's not a SmackDown review, but I want to get everyone's quick thoughts on it. 2 opinions, just 1 word each. Everyone's first thought: Absolution.
My favorite Hitman game.
Kind of reminds me of that vodka. Not a good name.
True Crime Streets of LA.
Oh my god, beautiful man. Number 2, Riot Squad.
Ooh, that's a shitty name.
Yeah.
It's way better than Absolution.
But is it
Riot
But
Squad.
is it really, or are they on par with the like? They're
Right.
both
Is this
like
a
one of
fucking
those.
college
Okay, it's
football
like
game?
let's cheap plug the game again. Like we're gonna get free copies from 2K and WWE 2K18. You go into like the generic creative stable, like the generic names they have. It's like Riot Squad. I feel like would be one of them in there for the generic.
You know, that's,
I hate the fact that they gave Ruby Riot's name to another T.
well, they just want to trademark it. That's all that is.
I mean, no, it's exactly why they did it, but it's stupid.
You called it on Twitter, Colin. Like the only way, and yes, we talked about it yesterday with our buddy Lola, how this was lazy to do the PCB type angle shit all over again. But the only way to really make this make sense was have them like both be in cahoots, both groups of women. But it seems like we're not getting that. I guess now.
Who knows, though? I mean,
I don't
Well,
know.
I mean, I saw people on Twitter saying, like, because once Shane McMahon on Twitter announced that there was going to be a 6-woman tag with the Riot Squad versus the other ones, people were immediately saying, oh, or are Naomi and Natalya going to be attacked backstage? And it's just going to be Charlotte. Like they expected like a complete copy and paste of like Monday Night Raw's thing. And to be honest, I wouldn't have been surprised.
I'm glad they didn't, though. That was good.
Yeah, but at that point, it's too easy to make fun of them. So, I mean, at least now there's some difference between the storylines. But, I mean, I still feel like at some point we're going to get, like, I mean, I don't know how they're going to do it, especially because, like, it's a brand split. There's no reason for it because, the brands are split. They need to stay split. But at some point, I feel like we're going to get a reveal that Paige was behind both of these things happening or, like, it's somehow connected or something along those lines.
What do you think, Logan? Do you think it's going to pan out like that?
It quite honestly could.
Very
It
eloquent.
really could. It really. I'm saying like Paige. This could honestly be something that could be good and bad. I just don't understand how that would work with the whole brand split. That's the only thing that comes to mind.
that won't matter though. I mean, Corey Graves does both shows. They'll soon start forgetting about the brand split sooner or later.
I mean, sooner or later they'll probably fizzle out like the old brand split did around like 2009, 2010. Sooner or later there's going to be Raw Super shows again, and
Yeah, exactly.
eventually it'll die out in like 5-6 years. But in the meantime,
I don't know if it'll last that long, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Vince has the attention span of like a 10-year-old, and every time there's a brand split, they always do this. They start mixing it more and more until the lines are blurred too much, and you can't tell anymore. With the super shows and all that.
But I mean, they've kept a decent job of keeping the brand split, intact. I mean, they had the whole Survivor Series brand warfare thing that was going on, which was fine because if the show was going to be based around Raw versus SmackDown, yeah, it makes sense for them to have them on their shows and ambushing.
I kind of picture it for like the past year since the draft. Like Vince has been wanting to hit that red button, and Uncle Paul Triple H has been smacking his hand every time, like, no, not yet, no. Like he's been wanting to fucking make him mix for like a little kid.
Yeah. But I mean, at the same time, Corey Graves being on both shows is kind of just like, well, what's that about? Because I mean, if you recall during the Superstar Shakeup, you had Byron Saxton and David Otunga. They switched brands.
Well, plus Michael Cole was filling in for Tom Phillips for a while.
Yeah, and then Cole would fill in for Phillips. Well, Phillips was on his honeymoon, and so I mean, it's
yeah.
He actually got a honeymoon after everything that his.
Yeah, I'm surprised his wife didn't leave him after the whole face fuck thing, but whatever.
And all these guys like in the modern era, shout out to them. I know the schedule's tough, but like all these guys in 2017 in WWE who complain about the time on the road, there's no way in hell back in the day in the mid 90s, the Attitude Era, that Vince was giving anyone time off for a fucking honeymoon. So these guys should thank their graces that the old man's gotten a little up in age and he's a little more.
I thought you were gonna say that there's no way in hell that the men and women weren't just fucking each other backstage. That's where I thought you were going with it.
Well, it's road less traveled, but we can go there. No, yeah. Main event time, 205 Live. I finally started watching. I came into Tony Nese's entrance, and nothing's changed in a month. He still talks to his stomach. It takes 15 minutes for him to come down to the ring, Lex Luger style. It's okay. It's entertaining. It could be worse. With Drew Gulak, like we said, coming out to crickets. I already covered that earlier against Mustafa Ali. Speaking of come out to crickets, shit. And Cedric Alexander, who, to his credit, still gets the crowd invested because he's so good in the ring by the match. As little as a reaction as he gets. By the end of it, the crowd's pretty much in his corner. Match was okay. I saw some good, in-ring old school psychology, and the heels keep cheating to distract the guys, which led to the tension with Ali and Alexander, which, believe it or not, I thought this was well done. It was classic. It was old school. It was a good way to put tension to the baby faces leading into this fatal four-way this Monday to determine a guy who's going to fight the number one contender. See, you're already confusing the fans right there. You're making it over. You're splitting hairs. Just have one fatal four-way match. You know what I mean? And the show's not popular enough for people like, oh, there's going to be two qualifying. No, just one and done. But other than that, it was a fine way. The heels get the win. Let me throw it to Colin. What did you think about how the show ended this week?
I thought it was good. I thought it was a good match. I enjoyed that Nese and Gulak won because I was like, are they really going to have the entire Zoe train swept tonight? I mean, no Daivari was there, I was fine with that. No one gives a shit about Daivari.
Nobody noticed.
But, I mean, I was glad that Gulak and Nese got a win. I mean, you kind of have the whole, tension in the ranks thing with Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali because there was a backstage segment earlier in the show about, Rich Swann had just wrestled and he was there with Mustafa and Cedric, and Cedric was saying, man, when I win, me and you are going to have a good match. And Mustafa just pokes he does the great, the gif of the white guy who just like shakes his head. And he's like, what? Like that was Mustafa Ali. And I thought it was hilarious. And, so you got that thing going on. And so you had them yelling at each other. And so it's all just to set up the fatal four-way on Monday Night Raw.
Logan, what'd you think of the main event?
I like this match. I do want to say Ali did hit a beautiful brainbuster. Don't see that too often, do you?
Not since Aries left.
Yeah. Balor does sometimes. Yep. The right guy.
Oh yeah, the 1916.
But anyway,
But this this main event match does for what it's worth, it does help the interest in the Fatal 4-Way match on Monday Night Raw. I didn't mind this show, but at the same time, it was lackluster.
would you say it was hard to fight the Sleepy Demon during the show, Logan?
I wanted to go to fucking WWE 2K18.
Yeah. I was debating just saying I watched it and just play Assassin's Creed Origins, but no, I did it for you guys. I watched it, half of it at least. Bronson, you didn't catch it, lucky devil, but you know it is what it is. Can't blame you. It's like I don't think anybody, unless like someone like us who has a show, tunes in every week clamoring, excited. I can't wait till next week's 205 Live episode. I don't think they have any dedicated fan like that, unless it's like an immediate family member competing on the show or whatnot. For the two guys that did see the show, what do you grade this week's episode of 205 Live and all that good stuff?
It was all right. It was a filler episode. It's one of those things. It was like no one's gonna remember anything that happened on the show in come a month's time. So it was all right.
Hang on, what did you say, Colin? What grade did you give it?
I didn't give a good grade, but as far as a grade goes, I'd C+.
It's like if he was the teacher, he didn't even give the kid a grade. He just gave him a pat on the back because he just felt bad for him. Like, yeah, it's
basically
fine.
it basically was just one of those. They're like, I'm not gonna fail you, but I'm not gonna give you an A. I'll let you graduate because I don't want to see you again.
Yeah, like good luck.
Kind of what Colin gets, a participation award.
Wow.
I'm the Corey Graves to your Byron Saxton, and you know it.
Are you gonna get him the right pie, Logan, to make his toes twinkle?
No, I'm gonna give this show an F for fuck's sake.
For fuck's sake.
I gotta be on another show with Colin.
Oh, come on. You know some part of you. Yeah, I'm sure Bobby and Gorilla miss each other at least if they took a month
Well,
off.
they're both dead, so I mean...
What does that have to do with it? I mean, I know they're dead. They lived once, though. That's the times I'm not talking about now. Come on. 20 episodes in, guys. 20 more to come. What can you say? It's good to be back, gentlemen.
20 with Colin? I'm putting my 2 weeks notice in.
Other than that, if you guys got anything else, that's all I've got for this week's episode.
Well, it's the 20th. Did we want to talk about anything SmackDown, maybe? Raw? Anything that... I know you have a show with Michael and all, but...
It's fine. I just dread. The only thing about the main roster shows right now, as far as SmackDown, because I know that was tonight, I really dread they're going to put the belt back on Jinder. And I know I was one of those guys originally when the run, I was open to the change of seeing the belt on the new guy. I gave it a chance. I was positive about it, but I got to be honest, nobody's positive about it now because it just has no legs at this point. It's not going to work. He's not the right guy. I don't think they know any better. I think Vince, come hell or high water, wants that Cena Jinder match for Mania season. And god damn it, name me one fucking person who wants to see that. That's my only biggest complaint about the SmackDown.
I really hope you're wrong about that. Shit, that sounds awful.
He's not. It's gonna happen. And I was
we don't know.
I was on the same boat.
We'll see.
Go on.
Good.
Okay, all right. I'll go, I guess. I was on the same boat. Like, when Jinder Mahal won the belt, I was just like, fuck yes. Let's go, Jinder Mahal. Long live the Maharaja. And then Baron Corbin lost, and then he beat Nakamura, and it's just... If it, like I keep saying it, if his reign would have ended at SummerSlam with Nakamura beating him, it would have been perfect.
And it's like, guys, look, and I know the easy comparison is JBL. And look, I understand JBL is no Bret Hart or Austin, whatever, but JBL at least had some fucking X factor, charisma factor that something about his little shitty year title run back in 04 and 05, it kept me captivated. Like, he was so good at being a heel, I wanted to see him get beat, as opposed to Jinder. It was like, I just wanted to tune out, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get it. And he's going to win the belt back. Well, like, we know it's going to happen, either Clash of Champions or at some point before Mania, because, you know, and the thing, like, Cena Cena's gonna beat Jinder if the match happens at Mania, and Cena's gonna, break that Ric Flair record, and that's gonna be the big story. But it's weird to think that it's gonna be against fucking Jinder Mahal.
I forgot the record will be broken too on top of it. It's like I have a knife in me already, but like you're pouring salt into it while you're twisting it now. I forgot.
Exactly. And hey, in Jinder's defense, he's a better WWE champion than Bray Wyatt was, which is really sad.
That's not really saying much, but I guess,
I mean, you're not wrong, but
he's a better WWE champion than Vince McMahon was.
Yeah, that's like saying he's a better WWE champion than Great Khali was,
Hey, and Sergeant Slaughter.
Hey.
Jinder Mahal is basically the best of the worst.
What's wrong with Sergeant Slaughter's little World War II Iraq? Fucking World War III.
There was a lot.
Colin has become the bitch of Slam Pigs.
Anything else, Logan?
No, at this point, Colin just shaking my damn head. I swear.
It was touch and go, that Slaughter. And we're digging deep, guys, for material now. It was touch and go, that Slaughter thing at the time. Yeah, it was totally pandering to the war, but it made sense for that era, I think. I mean, yeah, the match with Hogan is one of the worst WrestleMania matches ever. It was awful, but I don't know. We've seen way worse champions than Slaughter. You don't got to put him beside Khali, for fuck's sake. Shit, Logan. Or Colin. Excuse me. Now I'm going to hear about me mixing you up for the next month, Logan. I'm going to get your heel heat rubbed off on me. Great.
And he beat the Warrior, if you remember. Warrior didn't even hold on to the belt for a year.
Here's something we can...
fuck the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, see, a lot of people say that's an unpopular... It's really not. If people do your homework, fuck the Ultimate Warrior. He was not a good person.
He was not a good person, that's for sure.
He wasn't. He really wasn't. And, all this positivity and spreading the honest messages and all that shit... Go back and look why he was fired in '92. That's all I got to say. And I'm not talking about when he held up Vince. I'm talking about the next year when he got fired for his steroid scandal. Yeah, great guy. Great fucking guy. That's who I want to have.
Made fun of people with cancer, made fun of homophobic. It was awful.
Mm-hmm.
Just awful. By the way, if we're on the topic of Jinder Mahal, Triple H just released another promo hyping up his match with Jinder in December on the India tour. Who's going over?
H.
I think it's really sad because I think Triple H is going to do the job to Jinder, and it's really sad.
That's actually what I got my whole family for Christmas, was trip overseas to see that match. Now I spoiled it.
So you mean to tell me that Triple H is going to do the job like Colin gives Enzo Amore a blowjob? Okay.
Oh.
You had to stretch that one, but still, I'll allow it.
It's a solid 6, Logan. Solid 6.
Yeah, you know that little meme or GIF that has the little chick that get hot dogs thrown at her face as she has her mouth open. Yeah, that's Colin.
That's the one I think you're talking about. That's fucking Olivia Munn, who that is.
Other than that, I can't think of a better way to wrap up the evening than Hot Dog Girl GIFs. Bronson, one more time, man. Where can everyone check out on Twitter and all that good stuff?
Bronson Tron.
Boom shakalaka. Thank you, man. Hope to have you on more shows on the channel. And thank you for joining me. Colin, my man, where can everyone check you out?
Check me out on Twitter at UberTieGuy, and check me out on the Pro Wrestling Roundtable podcast, where we discuss all things wrestling. And it is hot garbage over there. But, I'm a co-host, so I got to promote the show. And always check me out on the Big TMD, Slam Pigs Cruise Control.
Very good. Mr. 205 Live, the harbinger of Hot Pockets, the scavenger of Skittles, the owner of Logie's Hoagies, Logan Myers. Where can everyone check you out?
You guys can check me out on Twitter at Logan Myers 144. Check Future Wrestling Podcast on YouTube. Just search Future Wrestling Podcast. Go like, subscribe, and enjoy. And for Colin's little show, they record it, and it will be out maybe next month or so. Who knows?
Yeah, we're also really shitty with releasing our shows. Our new one that we recorded a few days ago that I was not a part of because reasons probably be out next week.
There you have it. And I'm going to boil it right
Or
down
next
to you,
year.
Logan.
Or next year. Or next year.
Honestly, that's also a very good possibility.
I'm still waiting for the one we guessed it on way back when to see the light of day. I don't think it ever will. It's going to be DLC
No,
or something.
it's never going to see the light of day. Well, we'll get you back on eventually.
Thank all you guys for joining me every week. Guys like you, Bronson, taking time out to guest. Logan, you flat out that started this with me. Did you ever think 20 episodes later we'd still be consistently watching 205 fucking live and going insane?
No, I do not. And I think I am going insane.
That's 20 weeks in a month, Logan. We've been watching this
Yep.
shit, and it's not getting any better.
So we started this show 20 episodes ago. And the first thing I want to say is thank you to the fans who have guided through this bullshit with us. And thank you, Colin, for ruining the Cruise Control YouTube.
Oh, please, let's be honest. I made it so much better than the other host.
I cannot argue that of any of the points made tonight. That is the most accurate. Until next week, 20 episodes down. Thank you guys, like Logan said. Megan Starr, one of our most dedicated listeners, stopped by the chat. Anyone else who stopped by every week, we will see
Love you,
later
Megan.
next- We do. And I will see everyone right here tomorrow night live with Michael, the man himself, return. Slam Pigs is back. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor we're back until next week. See that?
Tell him, don't forget, tell him to send me some Denny's.
Grand Slam, pal.